This is definitely where I would expect to be skinned and killed, yeah.
Well, you know, most people would be honored to be killed in my basement. So this is the room we have, so I have to like pull it out for you like a goddamn lady. Put your shit there.
And just spill it all over your
Get
stuff.
yourself situated there. Yeah, it's very cozy.
Very much so. This is cool. This is really cool.
It's not so bad. Wait, I need to.
Close him up so we can speak terrible things.
Amy's the only other guest I've had, but it's been pretty successful.
We had
People are still watching.
jacket.
Yeah, that was.
That was, yeah.
Oh shit! I hit fucking battlenet. God damn it! Now I gotta wait for that to fucking close. I gotta wait for it to open so I can close it. Unless I can just hit fucking task manager and kill it.
Yeah, he seemed a little Lady McFitty.
He was indeed. Die. So there we go. Okay. And Mike there. So you can, do whatever you need to with it. I'm gonna give you a little slack here.
Alright.
Good morning. Let me make sure I'm not gonna blow your goddamn eardrums out here. Did you enjoy the music? Hello, Bleeding Blue. Good morning, sir. That is Mr. Steve Mares for the layman. I don't know why you changed your fucking name. Fucking Bleeding Blue. What the fuck does that mean? Are you an ice person? Are you like a woman who's trapped in the ice and is fucking bleeding out of her cunt into the ice? Yeah, fucking douche. Bleeding Blue. Shut the fuck up with that shit. All right. I hope you enjoyed the tunes. It's just some fucking bullshit I pulled off the internet. It's hopefully actually royalty free. Pull my OBS back up. Here we go. Fuck, man. There's a guy in here. I don't know what the fuck that's about. He showed up, dude.
This is broken.
I don't know where. Oh,
Drink
I
your
see.
coffee.
He's a Colts fan. That's okay. Okay. People with sports name profile pictures and shit.
Bleeding.
Get the fuck out of here. No, just kidding. Steve Mares is my best fan. He's a good guy. There's your mic there, buddy.
Alright. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Mike. You can like adjust it and shit and do whatever you need to do with it.
Does it
You
move
loosen
forward?
there. No, it doesn't go forward at all, bro. We do things backwards in this podcast. There you go. There you go.
Let's write it like a Sabian.
He's currently pulling the mic out of the stand because he's a fucking idiot. Oh shit! I
What
need to
do?
back off of that. I might need to turn the volume down a bit over there. Oh Jesus Christ! What is going on? Let me turn your shit down until you figure out how it works. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get it back into.
Will you?
Give
Yeah.
that a shot?
Yeah. Fucking hell, dude. Right off the bat, we are just fucked. I've never actually pulled it out of here before, so I don't even know what you did here. The Fixed Mic podcast is underway. There we go. There you go, buddy. There you go, buddy. Right there.
So this is really a electronics repair podcast.
See, how to fix a fucking mic that you pull
All right.
the fucking stand out of. What am I even saying? Good morning. Actually, good afternoon. It's 12:04 p.m. Top of the hour here in beautiful Aurora, Oregon. There's two cunts in a basement sitting here not knowing how to work a microphone and also a camera, it would turn out. Just making sure everything's all dialed in, people, so bear with us. This is my second fucking guest on the podcast. I might as well introduce him. His name is Stellar Smith, aka Stellar Barista on Instagram. Longtime friend, pretty good guy. I mean, good as he can be, I guess. Care to, I don't know, fucking intro yourself or something? I don't know how this works.
Right, me neither. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could just talk a little bit about what I do. Yeah, my name's Stellar.
I want to get your fucking shit right up to that. Or at least
my name is Stellar Smith.
No.
And
just keep it in the yellow.
The yellow. Okay.
No pressure.
Those one right there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No pressure at all. So yeah, I currently work as an armed security officer for a company down in Southern Oregon. And on the side, I'm building a coffee business. I spent some time after getting out of the woods due to a bad back injury from working as a logger in some cafes and just slinging lattes and things like that. And I had a lot of fun doing that. It's really enjoyable just making people's morning pick-me-ups. They come in habitually and you get to know people in a small subtle way, and over time kind of get to learn more and more about them, and
for sure
it's pretty cool. And so I think that I've always been somebody who wants to do a lot of outreach, and so coffee can be kind of a a good way to just initiate connections within the community. And so that's kind of my goal now. The end game is to renovate an old Land Cruiser, and yeah, definitely. And I would love to drive that down to Southern and Central America and sell lattes out of that, and just do what I can as far as relief work, and at the same time go on crazy adventures and just explore the world.
It's a pretty good intro there.
Cool. Good success.
Yeah, you did good. So when we were, hanging out a lot more when I lived closer to you, you hated coffee, or at least you wouldn't touch it.
Yeah,
What the fuck happened?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, we were just getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And I was drinking espresso every day. It was I was probably drinking a traditional macchiato. Which a lot of people don't know what that is. They hear macchiato, they think the Starbucks blended drinks. It's
right.
like a caramelizer, basically.
Yeah.
But a macchiato traditionally is just a double shot of espresso with some foam on top. But I was drinking about 2 of those a day, and then went on a trip to Mexico, and had some horrible insomnia that night. Couldn't sleep, so I got an hour of sleep. Because of too much caffeine.
Happens to the best of us.
It does, yeah. And then just loaded up on caffeine that day, and I was in Mexico for about 2 weeks, and for the first few days I was like just nursing that jet lag and caffeine hangover, and it kind of killed it. It kind of killed the first part of the trip for me,
Yeah.
and I felt like, well, that's shitty. I don't want to feel like that, and um, like that. Like that day we flew out, I decided I'm done drinking coffee and soda, and so I drank water, and alcohol, of course, for
Yeah. I
right.
remember
Couldn't
that.
get that up.
Barely.
Yeah, a lot of alcohol.
Barely.
So I cut out everything but that for about 5 years, and then got together with a partner who was really into coffee, and then just slowly started drinking coffee after that.
Word.
And what really kind of like started this whole coffee, craze for me was just getting a job at a cafe and just learning about coffee, slinging lattes, things like that.
So you basically got hooked.
Pretty much, yeah. yeah. And it's just I think it's very in line with like who I am as a person.
Yeah.
It's very, like, I hate to be one of those people that talks about themselves and like
Well,
what
this
I perceive.
podcast is a little bit about you, so.
Yeah, I like to just the laid back ritual of just making a cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's really ritualistic.
Very much so. Yeah, like every day I get up and the first thing I do is go fire up my espresso machine and just get ready to make that morning latte and start the day.
For sure. Right on, man. This isn't really like an interview. I should say it's just two fucking dummies that found a couple of mics and feel like the world should know what they want to say. So, little reminder: these mics are really directional. So basically, you want to just choose a spot, and also you gotta get comfortable. You're bending forward and you're gonna.
I don't want it to.
20 minutes in, you're gonna have a fucking broken back.
Well, I already have a broken back. Not losing much there.
Yeah, dude, we're like back pain brothers, I think. Like we both fucking sustained pretty, not serious back injuries, but enough to where it fucking gave us quite a different, I don't know, forced us to have a different outlook on life and shit.
Well, it certainly
if you want to just, I don't know if you want to hold it or whatnot, or scooch in farther or whatever, but I would have
I
it.
can scoot on this table.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
There you go.
I think it definitely has that. Is that better?
I don't fucking know.
It I think both of our injuries definitely. For me, it altered my life.
Yeah.
And in so many ways. At the time I was, working in the woods as like a firefighter and a logger and
Yeah.
doing all of these crazy, reckless things, and kind of had to, evolve out of that,
Right.
and move on to something more sustainable and less physically destructive.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we both fucking flung chainsaws around for a while. We've lived to kind of somewhat parallel lives, but you're just like a fucking job collector. I feel you just every time I talk to you, I feel like you're doing something different.
Yeah, that's like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
It definitely got some probably some ADD there for sure.
Job ADD.
Well, yeah, I love to explore and adventure, and
yeah.
I think that definitely is expressed in the projects and the jobs I've had.
Yeah.
I'm constantly future focused and thinking about projects and ideas, and
A little restless.
A little bit, yeah. And so I think that's why, like, mobile coffee would be good. Is I would constantly get to, explore and adventure.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun to see the world in that kind of a context.
I think a lot of people, forget that a lot of life is about adventure. I think, and if you can get to a place where you can safely and securely adventure more, I think a lot of people would be more fulfilled. I don't know.
I agree. Well, I think a lot of people just get, like, stuck in the grind of life.
Yeah.
They just do the same thing for 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
And
go to a
like,
fucking, like, I've worked in, like, packing plants and shit, and you see people that have been there for 15 fucking years. People that are fucking, they've been palletizing. They palletize fucking. They wrap pallets in their sleep, dude. They fucking.
And that's crazy to me. Like I can. Like,
their safe word is pallet jack.
Oh man, I just can't imagine that. I can't imagine. I have a hard time doing, like, all of these really exciting, dangerous jobs that I've done throughout my life.
Yeah.
Like, for a few years consistently. I start to get pretty restless after a year or two.
Same here, man. I don't know what the fuck. Maybe it's a millennial thing, but I feel like a lot of millennials can't do a job for more than a couple of years.
Yeah, I think that there's... Well, and it seems like the world is kind of moving out of that.
The fucking
like that
40-hour week doing the same fucking thing over and over again for 25 years.
Yeah, well, and it seems like the workplace is evolving so rapidly that there just isn't a place for those long-term, 20-year stable jobs.
Yeah, I think that shit's going by the wayside for sure.
Yeah, it seems to be like the time of the gigs.
Yeah.
And of the side projects and the side hustles.
Right.
Yeah, it's a totally different time.
Yeah, people are fucking fed up, dude. Like, they, get all that pressure from people like, older people, like fucking Bleeding Blue over there, this fucking 80-year-old guy that's in my chat all the time, just won't leave me alone. We hear that shit from these people, like, hey, you gotta get a job, you gotta fucking do this, do that, you gotta fucking have a career, which is, I think it's important to have some kind of mainline career goal. I think that's important, but, like, I don't know, that people are figuring out that it's not necessarily working because they see, like, how old people are, like, completely fucking jaded by this shit,
Yeah, and there is a huge disconnect between millennials and baby boomers.
Yeah, dude.
And I think about that a lot. And I kind of think it's because, like, baby boomers, they grew up in obviously a very privileged time.
Yeah.
The very financially wealthy time to be alive in America.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunity. It's like, I was talking to a grandparent of mine the other day, and she's saying, "Oh yeah, you could buy a house and put, like, 3 kids through college and have a stay-at-home wife on, like, 40 hours a week worth of income." And that seems like so out of touch with what the reality of today
And a black mistress on the side.
yeah, some hired help as well. And I think that, like, a lot of the baby boomers, they're so entrenched in the idea of all you need to succeed is a hard work ethic.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you can go on YouTube or any major social media platform, and you see all of these like people who, who are hustling. They're creating personalities for themselves, and there's millions of people like that. Who
Everybody wants to be famous now.
Right. Well, everybody's
Myself
just like,
included.
who doesn't want to be famous and make money for it?
True. I mean, I just run my fucking mouth on the internet. Like, what better job would that be?
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a good time.
Yeah. I just fucking talk and don't know what the fuck I'm saying and have a mediocre recipe once in a while.
Yeah. You come up with some cool stuff. I really like that it's like if you go to some of these really high-end cooking channels, it's like I could never recreate that. Like with all of my skills, and it's like
Well, also they're fucking boring, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I try to fucking make make a good try to make a good time of it, try to and like people say you can't, you shouldn't curse on your channel and blah blah blah, but I can say whatever the fuck I want actually, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna do it. Hey Rachel, how you doing? Rachel is one of the best fucking people that come into these chats. Bleeding Blue says, I've got 25 years at a corn plant, boys. Sucks.
Damn.
And he's got about, I don't know, 6 or 7 fucking illegitimate kids walking around his place, bro. He's got a fucking chromosomes coming out of his eyeballs, brother.
Just run away to Mexico.
What does that mean?
There's sunny beaches down there.
Did I just call you a retard inadvertently?
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's to be expected on this channel.
So stellar. Anyway, happy Sunday, Rachel. And please welcome my good buddy Stellar. So we were hanging out last night until 4 a.m.
I got here at like 3.
Why don't you tell the good people about your drive?
Well, it was pretty uneventful up until like Woodburn, which is about I don't know, about 10 minutes away.
20 or so.
20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was this long straightaway. It was just like just sitting there with cruise control on, hands off the wheel,
chilling,
hanging out,
listening to some tunes.
Yeah. Shut my eyes, get a little rest.
Rapping along with the music and saying the N-word quieter than the rest.
Right, low key.
Yeah, low key.
And
keeping it white.
I was nothing had happened. I saw a lot of state police on the highway. It is Memorial Day weekend, so I kind of figured that's probably what was going on. It was just extra police presence.
Cops partying on the bridge.
Right, yeah, just, getting those quotas in.
Yeah, beating
doing
quotas.
their outreach.
Outreach. I'm going to outreach the fuck out of you, bro.
Outreach people with their batons.
Yeah.
And, all of a sudden I saw a cop, who had his lights on, pull up onto an overpass that I was about a mile away from. I was going about like 75, so I was coming up on it relatively quickly.
Speeding. Breaking the law.
Definitely breaking the law. I mean, I got places to be, man. I can't be bothered with doing exactly 65 miles an hour.
No, nobody can. Fuck that.
Yeah, see, the world moves too quickly. Can't drive that slow.
Yes.
And, another police officer rolls up. So that was 2 that are kind of converging on this overpass. And so I'm getting closer, and at first I thought it was just like a traffic stop, based on just it was 2 officers. And then, from the opposite direction on this overpass, another police officer with his lights on rolls up to this spot, and he parks in the middle of the street basically. And so then I realized it was like some kind of a felony traffic stop. But then as I got closer, I saw that there was a guy there, and they were chasing this dude. And so right as I saw that there was a person that they were trying to grab, 3 more police officers rolled in hot and surrounded this guy, shutting off this overpass. And so, you know, I am...
All of this happening within, like, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, so you could see it?
Yeah, it was, like, 20 seconds from, like, the time of me, like, seeing this unfold to like, the climax of what happened.
Yeah.
Which was, like, this guy, like, seeing that it's fucking over and that the only way out is to, like, you know, jump off the overpass. And, you know, what he did is, like, he kind of, like, you know, got to the side of it and, you know, kind of shimmied down it and then, like, dropped as low as he could. And then as soon as he was, like, fully extended hanging, then he just let go.
Jesus Christ.
And so he probably fell, like, you know, 12, 15 feet or so. You know, so it was a ways up. But, so, you know, all the cops, like, jump back in their cars, and they get back onto the highway and shut that down and you know, create a perimeter around where this guy was.
Yeah.
And, you know, as soon as I did that, or they did that, I was, you know, past them and, you know, didn't see what happened after that. But
Jesus Christ.
So that was, like, my introduction into, you know,
Portland area.
The Woodburn area.
Welcome to Portland.
So, good job, Southern or Northern Oregon.
Yeah, fucking way to welcome my homie, dude.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. That seems like a...
This guy's like, oh Lord, the man's gonna get me. So fucking,
yeah, so
well,
props on that guy.
I don't know why.
I'm sure he's gonna have some compression injuries.
I don't know why I assumed he's a Southern black guy.
Yeah, I didn't see, like, if it was a man or woman or what.
Just a being that decided to go.
Yeah, that just was not down to go to jail that night.
Yeah, down to fucking die in the road. Idiot. Elizabeth Morgan has entered the chat. Hi, Louie. Hi, Stellar.
Hey, Liz.
Yes, my nickname is Louie because I'm a
Lulu.
little boy. Because I'm a sweet little boy.
We're always our mama's boys.
Hell yeah, bro. Moms are awesome. Call your mom, dude. Anybody that's listening, even if your mom's a cunt. A lot of them are. Mine is not, because she's fucking solid. She's actually one of the guys. Went to a car show with her.
Nice.
Last weekend? Fucking, I don't remember, dude. It's been a crazy couple weeks. So, yeah. So if you're wondering, maybe you should wonder more how your fucking mom's doing. You know, is she dead in the ditch? To hell with her mother.
Yeah, I mean, she did, like, birth and raise you, so
yeah,
the
I
least
mean,
you could do is
moms
tell her you love her once in a while.
do a lot. I mean, they did a lot for us before we could even realize, dude. Like,
yeah,
you know, went through excruciating pain, putting my fucking giant Greek baby head through them, and then fucking just popping them right.
Were you a pretty big baby?
No, I was pretty small.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like 6 pounds.
Oh wow,
I was a little guy.
yeah,
I was
fun-sized.
a little bit premature too, so that reflected throughout the rest of my life. About 2 weeks premature to every situation. It's like you call the girl up, and like she wants it, she's into it, right?
Right.
But she's like, hey, I already came. Sorry. It's like,
no, I'm over. I'm done.
she's like, hey, come over. I wanna fucking have a good night with you. She's like, sorry, I already came.
I already had a good night 2 weeks ago.
Shit. We do have. Not for if you guys, there's 4 of you in there. If you guys have questions for me or my good buddy Stellar, the barista, the coffee maniac, that's the name I just gave you, I guess.
Coffee maniac.
Coffee maniac.
Definitely going ham on this espresso this morning.
Coffee maniac. You know what? You guys, I know you're used to this. I know I announce it every single time, but it was another 2 shit before the podcast. I'm just old Johnny Two Shits over here. Fucking. I had a third coming on, but sometimes you gotta hold it. Sometimes the shit's not ready, dude.
Are they pretty solid?
The first two were pretty solid, but this next one,
I feel like it's just gonna be
it's like a
shotgun.
Yeah, it's like a fucking beaver dam that's holding back a bunch of twigs. Dude. It's gonna be rugged.
Just pull that one twig out, and it's gonna burst.
It's gonna be fucking rugged. Oh, the reason my dog was so smelly because she was rolling in a dead snake.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was some kind of a dead animal.
Yeah, smelled like a fucking ferret's cunt.
Yes, it smelled pretty shitty.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions for me or Stellar, please put them in the chat. Otherwise, I have one question from my friend, that one Arab guy, on Instagram. He says in the group chat, which is named Cowabungus. That's how old we've been doing all this shit. We just say we're trying to get this Norwegian girl to say Cowabunga out loud for like the past year, and she just won't do it. She'll type it once in a while, but she just will not say Cowabunga, and it's just driving us nuts. And it's cool to be in the group chats because like you teach each other cultural things. Like there's people from all over the world in my group chats. Like mostly kids, so it makes me look like another episode of Dateline ABC.
How to Catch a Predator.
Why don't you kind of have a seat right over there? Anyway,
that is really cool about like a lot of people talk shit about the negativities of the information age and social media, but
yeah.
like that's really cool. You can get online and create a group chat, and like we could talk to some kid from India about like his experiences.
And I have. Like there's in my group chats there's 4 of the kids are in Croatia, and they're like 16 and they're all out drinking at fucking nightclubs. These people are fucking savages, dude.
And that's a trip.
Yeah,
like, that's
and it's
so...
like this shit I never would have known. And they're all super nice people. One of them is from the Philippines, and she's a super sweetheart. I mean, it sucks that she's not here right now, but it's probably like 5 a.m. where she is. I don't know what the fuck. And I have a small following in Kilmarnock, Scotland. There's like probably 10 or so people that I've talked to on and off that are from there. People on the East Coast, of course, the United States. And let's see, where else? There was one kid in Northern Ireland that comes into the chat once in a while. There's people all over the world that I talk to, and it's fucking awesome.
That's really neat.
Nothing, not aroused. Just
low-key, you gonna put that out there.
Yeah, it's just saying.
Disclaimer.
I think this
guy. You
guy
gotta have your disclaimers.
This guy's not in. Yeah, he's in the U.S., but he's so fucking Arab. He says, "Why is it sometimes I randomly feel anxious or depressed when nothing in particular is bothering me? Like I just feel like something is wrong, but there's nothing specific." I think we've all been through that shit, especially if you're like an anxious person, or a fucking, a depressed person. That shit can be a daily occurrence. Like for me, that happens to me quite often, and it's usually. For me, it's usually correlated. I mean, I've been fucking beating a dead horse for a while. I tell all these people this, and I'm probably so fucking annoying to a lot of people that I talk to about all this shit. Because, I talk to what would amount to teenagers pretty often online that are all complaining usually about something that's wrong with their emotions. For one, you're a teenager. And it's just kind of like that when you're a teenager. Shit just kind of sucks, especially when you're younger, like 14.
That's a terrifying time.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Trying to figure out who you are and what your values are and
but the
where you fit in the world.
one major thing, especially as you get older, is fucking diet, dude. Like, I've learned this the hard way. I mean, and it's actually one of the subjects I wanted to talk about, actually, that I wrote down, was that in a lot of ways I'm super glad that I have hypoglycemia, because it allows me to really regulate what I'm eating, because I have direct consequences for what I eat. You know, a lot of people are under the misfortune of not being really that negatively affected, or at least that they can tell by what they're eating. You know, if I have too much sugar, I like even too many, like, you know, processed carbs or whatever, particularly sugar, I get depressed. I get like straight up fucking sad boy hours, you know?
Yeah.
And it really sucks. So that's why I've been really cracking down on the amount of sugar intake that I've been doing. I mean, I still get trace amounts here and there. I think you always are going to get little trace amounts unless you're just full on fucking paleo carnivore.
Yeah, it's really difficult to avoid
fucking
sugar.
There's sugar and fucking soy in everything, dude.
Yeah.
It's retarded. And soy and sugar are poison, dude. Except for, you know, stuff like soy sauce, fermented soy. It's good for you. Learn that anything fermented is pretty good for you, other than, you know, hard liquor. But, you know, I would, for that, I would say when you're feeling that, I would say probably just note it and make sure that you recognize that it's happening. This is just what I do. I mean, I'm a dumb cunt. Nobody, you probably don't care what I'm fucking trying to say. But just note it. And one of my mantras, I can't speak English. One of my mantras is that this is just how you feel today. It's just something I try to repeat to myself often. So, you know, just kind of let it happen, but don't let it rule your life. Don't let it rule your day, ruin your fucking day. You know, try to sleep on shit like that. Don't do anything drastic. You know, don't fucking shove an ice pick in your fucking cock hole over it. You know, just fucking chill. Take a deep breath. Eat a protein. Eat something with protein and fat. Get yourself exercised by an exorcist. And this guy, he works out a lot, so I don't know what his fucking problem is. Anyway, I hope that helps. I'm beating a dead horse usually. I always say diet. Diet is so huge, and people are learning that more and more. People are figuring that shit out more as we go. Anything to put?
Oh yeah, I think we're predatory animals. You know, we're really meant to go out and hunt and forage, and the modern way of living is so sedentary. It's so
automated.
So minimally active, especially now. You know, with how efficient we can do things.
Yeah.
We really have to make sure that we're artificially creating that physical resistance.
Yeah.
I've had my fair share of depression, and have really learned to manage that through through exercise and diet. If I exercise and eat well, like, that is gone.
Even 10 minutes of fucking cardio usually can knock it down.
Yeah, and I think that the physical aspect is probably like 90% of it, but there's definitely something to be said of like just doing something that's purely just healthy for you, and is rewarding. And I think if you're somebody that struggles um, with depression or anxiety or a mental disorder, um, diet and exercise can, they're not going to cure those things, but they can be powerful tools to mitigate them.
Yeah.
And I think that's where like a lot of people go wrong, is they reach for traditional options, like therapy and medication, which I think they absolutely have their place. I am in no way discounting them, but I think holistically it needs to be approached like a system. You need to evaluate everything about what you're doing and what you're doing to your body and mind. And it's like you talk about anxiety and apprehension, and in today's society, it's like we're constantly bombarded by stimuli.
Yeah.
It's like I thought about it on the way up here, and the amount of information and stories and videos and content we consume is just like overpowering.
Yeah.
Our bodies and minds are just not designed to process that much critical information.
Yeah.
And I think that tends to create a lot of anxiety.
Well, it might actually, if you think about it enough, it might actually be all the stimuli we're being exposed to all the time, like our phones. Like, a lot of us are addicted to our phones, but it might actually be, in some way masking that inner voice that tells us, hey, you need to like fucking take care of yourself, I think maybe in some way it's just like it's making you ignore that fucking, I don't know, that instinct to be like, hey, I don't feel right. Do
you mean like it's kind of like a distraction?
Yeah, I mean, it is a big distraction. And people have made the argument that looking at your cell phone all the time is the same thing as looking at a newspaper, like people used to a lot. People on a you see those pictures of people on a subway hiding a bottle of fucking cognac, having a fucking drinking their newspaper. Yeah, having a newspaper. But I really don't think that comparison can hold up anymore after what we've seen it, especially with social media. I think more social media than necessarily phones themselves.
Right. Well, like I can't like watch a 40-hour instructional video on a newspaper.
Yeah.
That just isn't possible.
You also can't watch a fucking you also can't watch a fucking like 10-hour loop of Epic Sax guy on a newspaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I hope that helps. That's quite a long-winded answer for that, but it is when you get another person to bounce ideas off of, that shit can go on for fucking days. Mm-hmm. So I should probably have like guests on here more often. I think this is going well. We're 42 minutes into the fucking podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think you should have more guests on. I think that would be really fun.
I've got my friend Andy Jane. That's at least what we call her. Her name's Andrea, but she I don't know if she'd be willing to talk about it, but she works for CPS, so I don't know if she'd want to talk about it. But
that would be
be interesting to, she gets kids out of tough situations, so that would be a very interesting thing to talk about if she's allowed to. Kind of the same thing with you with your job. can't really go into exact detail.
Yeah, it depends a lot on like the organization's policies. Like
Right.
some organizations really are restrictive. Like if you talk about anything that happens, I mean, you can be violating a policy and
Yeah.
jeopardize your position.
Anything specific, right?
Well, it just depends on what the company policies are. Like there are some companies out there that are like, if you talk about anything that happened to work, you know, you can be in violation of policies.
But that's not necessarily true of your work, so we could talk about it, right?
Yeah, we can talk about it in abstract ways. Like,
In
can't
abstract.
be like, you know, this guy did this.
Oh, really? So you can be like,
Jane Doe stabbed James
well,
Smith.
it's just a guy. You can be just a guy or a lady. I mean, I don't care. No one cares about their names. They're fucking psycho douchebags who should be fucking in jail. Fuck them. You know?
Yeah, I think that desperate people do desperate things.
True. There's people that are desperate to get heroin.
Yeah.
They'll kill you.
Absolutely.
If they have to. Yeah.
You know, heroin is.
You get face to face with that demon all the time.
Every day.
How do you fucking deal with that shit?
Diet and exercise.
That random fucking.
You know, it can be really draining.
Yeah.
You know, I was definitely blown away by the experiences that I've had doing what I do. You know, a lot of people hear security and think like Paul Blart Mall Cop, you know, which there's a lot of us. You know, there's a lot of security personnel who like are the embodiment of that. You know, and then there's also like, you know, your Pulp Fiction type who are just like there because they're in positions of authority and
They want to taste blood.
right. Yeah, they want to like shoot somebody because they think it's cool, you know, to have that
that's pretty
like,
cool.
authority and power.
You know,
Yeah, until
shoot
it's
somebody.
like, you know, you got to live with that, you know, on your conscience.
it's like a video game, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, you die, you just hit restart.
Life is just VR.
Yeah, it really is.
With real consequences.
Yeah. Man,
So
that's a
it's-
rabbit hole,
so
like
it's
the whole
R-
VR debate.
So it's RR. It's real.
Real reality.
It's real reality. It's so stupid. Anyway,
man, where was I?
dealing with fucking crazy shit that you deal with on a daily basis, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess to give it context, you know, like I carry all the same tools as a cop would. You know, I wear a body camera, a bulletproof vest. I carry a 9mm handgun, taser, and pepper spray.
Yeah.
You know, and you know it looks really menacing. You know, it looks like a police officer. You know, it's the whole shebang, and it seems overkill.
Yeah.
Especially to a lot of people who aren't exposed or really understand, you know, what it is that I do, or what it is that I encounter on a daily basis. It's like they see a security personnel with a gun and they're like, that's insane. You know, why would you ever have that?
Yeah.
And you know, there's been plenty of times where like I've reached for my weapon and, you know, come really, really close to having to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
And
You had a guy charge you that one time, right?
yeah, I've you know, as far as like lethal force encounters I've had, or getting close to them.
Did he have a weapon in his hand?
Yes, he had like one of those pruning shears,
So
like
he had
those
a-
gardening pruning
He had a
shears.
set of shears and a hard on, and he was coming straight at you.
Yes, yeah, he was. So he was a known individual that we've had issues with in the past.
Yeah.
You know, very consistently violent and unpredictable.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like 4:30 in the morning or so. I was just about to get off shift. And I came across this guy at one of our properties. And he had these shears. And he started coming right at me. And
Fuck.
that was pretty intense. You know, that was definitely pretty scary.
Yeah.
You know, I told him I was going to shoot him. And, you know, I addressed him by his first name because I knew who he was, and, you know, told him that, you know, he was gonna get shot.
Yeah.
And you know, thankfully that was enough to deter him. You know,
That's good.
You know, I feel very fortunate.
Cared about life enough to where he wouldn't. Well,
yeah, like I really, you know, there's certainly been instances where I have had to hurt people.
Yeah.
And, you know, that weighs really, really heavily on me. In fact, there was
as a person with empathy, I'm sure, like, that shit kind of, you carry it around a little bit, probably.
I do. Yeah, and that's a big reason why I think I'll probably be getting out of it. You know, I don't see myself becoming
smart.
a cop or, you know, moving down the road of, you know, security or any kind of public service.
But it's a interesting gig for now.
Yeah, you know, it's really, it's taught me so much about the world.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like before this job, you know, I thought I was pretty open-minded and understood a lot about what was going on, but it's really changed my perspective drastically.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, that probably gives you quite a fucking perspective change. When
It
you're dealing
does.
with that shit.
Yeah, it can be like a little jading sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, because like I'm constantly dealing with, you know, with people who are just down and out. You know, and that can be frustrating. That can be a lot of things. It can be sad. It can be depressing. You know, and you know, fundamentally, I'm somebody that's a you know, a protector and a mediator. You know, I think that's like a foundational aspect of who I am as a person, and so I really become, you know, invested in my work and, you know, do everything I can to, you know, to help and to help people and, you know, do the right thing and to contribute. But, you know, it can be pretty crazy. You know, like going back to like some of the things they do, like nobody would expect somebody in security to, you know, to be approaching like Serrano gangsters and, you know, who are like clearly slinging, you know, meth and heroin and being like, look, like I know what you're up to, you know, and to try to mediate a situation.
Hey, go back to the mall, papa.
Yeah.
What's she doing?
You know, and so that's, you know, that's kind of crazy. You know, I never expected to be doing something like that, doing security.
So, like, when you went through a certain amount of training, right? So, do they, in that situation, if that guy would have kept running at you, would you have shot to kill or shoot to injure? Like, is that even a thought process? I've never been in that kind of situation.
So, I mean that's really complicated, but I'll like layman's it as best
really
I can.
Fast.
Yeah. So the way use of force works, for like law enforcement, or really anybody, I should say the legal system.
Yeah, like cops and security guards.
Right, or it's just, you know, Joe Blow carrying his fucking 44 Magnum in his truck and some guy, like, you know, tries to rob him at knife point.
Right.
You know, you're supposed to utilize force to stop a threat. So, you know, that could be like, you know, the guy coming at me with the gardening shears, you know, I would use the appropriate level of force, which, you know, would be, of course, up to a judge to decide in a court of law, but historically that would have been a gun, you know, to address that kind of level of force, because it is a lethal threat.
Right. I mean, yeah, you could kill the fuck out of somebody with some gardening shears.
Hell yeah, yeah. If he stabbed me in the face or the neck or something like that,
you're done.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he could have, he could have ended my life right there easily, very easily. He was a highly aggressive, highly motivated individual who absolutely had the capability.
Who lost his motivation when there was a 9 in his face.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, when you're so many feet away and you've got to close that distance, and you know somebody's about to shoot you, you tend to think twice.
Yeah.
But so force is applied to stop threats. You know, it's not applied to
pretty simple.
Yeah, it's not applied to create a physical reaction. That's really just a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like pepper sprays deployed to stop them from, you know, trying to attack you or whatever, or attack somebody else, you know, and that goes with everything. You know, the tools are like, it's best to view them as like a level, you know, so like a gun is lethal force, obviously, and like your fists or your hands are like one of the lower levels, you know, and so it ascends.
Yeah.
And
well, a gun, even just the presence of a gun, levels other things out.
Yeah, it definitely can. There's certainly like a lot to be said about, you know, the mere presence of a firearm being there.
Yeah.
Can be a deterrent. You know, like I definitely get a different reaction from people if I'm like armed or unarmed. You know, people definitely tend to take the situation a lot more seriously when a weapon is introduced.
Yeah.
You know, I'm definitely not like, you know, running around like, hey, what are you doing here? You know, but
like a fucking video game character.
Right. Just like, you know, pointing weapons at people.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, and that's definitely not what I do. But like in that instance with the guy with the gardening shears, you know, I wouldn't shoot to injure or shoot to kill or shoot to anything. The objective would be to apply force, which would be gunshots, to the individual to stop them from doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah. Because you're mainly defending yourself, but you're also stopping the threat to everybody else that's around.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And
that's why America rocks.
What's that?
That's why America rocks, because we can just defend ourselves if we have to. I mean, sometimes a lot of the time, the person that is defending themselves ends up behind bars.
They definitely can, you know, but that's just part of our justice system, and I think that's really important, because there's plenty of people who do, like, you know, get into a verbal confrontation and then pull out their their shotgun out of their truck and then stick it in some guy's face, you know, and that's not right.
Yeah.
You know, that's immoral and, you know, unjust. And so I think that America is the greatest country in the world because we do have those checks and balances. You know, and, you know, I look at other countries and think about, you know, like you look at like the UK police, you know, a lot of them don't even carry firearms.
Fucking pussies, no.
And it's insane to me. You know,
it is crazy.
I think that there is in some ways, you know, a reliance on firearms by our law enforcement, but I think that that tool needs to be in, you know, the hands of public servants.
And also the UK police cars are so bitch, dude. Their little horns. Dude, come on.
Yeah, they're not very intimidating.
Get some fucking balls, UK police. Come on. Come on now. Get those boys loaded up with a goddamn 40-something and, you know, a fucking muscle car. Put them in a Jaguar, dude. At least. Not with this Puget shit. Come on now.
I kind of like the Peugeots. Like, after driving, because we drive
Is it
Crown
Peugeot?
Vics.
I should know that. I've worked on.
Are they? I don't
Similar
really know. I'm just
Peugeot?
an ignorant American who doesn't understand
Who gives
anything
a fuck?
non-American.
It's a Puget. Fuck off.
Yeah, because we drive almost exclusively Crown Victorians.
And Dodge
you know, the
Chargers.
old- Huh?
Oh, you specifically your company
Yeah,
vehicles?
we drive Crown Vics.
Oh, cool.
And they're
Like old ones?
I don't really like them.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah, they're
giant
boats.
cars, and they get like 13 miles to the gallon. You might as well drive like a pickup truck.
My neighbor has the police interceptor. It's like a PO car.
Nice.
Like my parole officer used to drive one of the same car, essentially. But they've got the interceptor engine in them, so they're pretty fast.
They are quick.
But they get like 10 miles a gallon, so.
Yeah, well, and that's what's kind of funny is, like, at the time, the Crown Vics were like revolutionary pieces of technology.
Sure.
But like a Camry from today's year is like a couple of seconds faster 0 to 60 than a Crown
And
Vic.
gets twice the mileage.
Right, and like half the size.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of people talk shit about like, oh man, these, you know,
Four bangers.
yeah, these stupid little V6s. It's like, you know, people don't realize that like that little V6, you know, import car is gonna blow the doors off of a, you know, old V8 Crown Vic.
Well, I was one of those people that talk shit about fucking, you know, Japanese cars, whatever, people, tuners or whatever. Because, I mean, I love muscle cars and I always will. But fucking my buddy, maybe I'll have him on here someday. His name's also Luke. He's a fucking ogre. He's giant. He won't even fit in this room, actually. I'd have to do it outside.
That'd be cool.
But he does like tuner cars and shit. And I rode in his, what was it, a Mitsubishi Eclipse 4-cylinder. He got like 600 horsepower out of this fucking thing, dude.
Out of a 4-cylinder
Yeah.
engine? That's nuts.
You can get like upwards of 1,000 horsepower out of a big 4-cylinder. You know,
It's probably got a turbo the size of the engine in it.
Yeah, big old fucking thing, dude. Fucking million pounds of boost or whatever the fuck they say. Anyway, you can go on about cars for a while.
Oh yeah, we could talk about that all day. That could be its own podcast.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of car podcasts. Man, there's nothing worse than those big crappy Honda gangs in Gresham. Yeah, dude. There's you get far enough in towards fucking, you know, towards the 100s streets, you know, from like, you know, let's see. Well, I mean, 82nd Avenue is not even that bad anymore. It used to be like sketch as fuck, right? But now it's like 122nd is now the new 82nd. It's Sketchville. And then a little bit farther out, you know, you got the fucking the waste of humanity, fucking like you see a guy out there towards Gresham, and he's walking, but he's like kind of floating, because he's like an ash man, you know. He's made of ash. He's just a burnt person walking down the road. And then, you know, once he gets to the rich neighborhoods, he just kind of fizzles out and falls apart. 92nd onward is bad. Yeah, I mean it's not as bad anymore as it used to be. I mean, I just recently had lived right off of 82nd, or at least close. But you used to see prostitutes broad daylight all day on 82nd. Now they're like renovating it and making it nice.
Gentrification is real.
Hell yeah. Fucking gentrify. Get in there and fucking gentrify the shit out of it. I don't care. Move them out. Get out of here, you fucking cunts. Yeah, the homeless thing, dude. You could go on about that. You could have a whole fucking podcast about homeless shit, dude. These fucking...
That's a rabbit
It
hole
all
we could go
started-
down for a couple hours.
Well, it all started with the Occupy movement, dude. Like these people, people are like, they didn't realize before that you can legally pretty much just camp anywhere on public land, And now people are like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking sell my house and live on the street, or just stop paying my bills and live in a tent and shit on the street,
Right.
San Francisco
It's
is
not the way
literally.
free market capitalism works.
Yeah, I know. Like, take advantage. We live in a fucking awesome capitalistic society. You might as well fucking take advantage of that shit, Like, you think about, like, guys like us. Think about guys like us trying to be homeless. We literally could not be homeless because we have too many skills, I guess.
Yeah, I think
I could live in a tent and have my chainsaw with me and get fucking get some work done,
Right.
But it has to do with, for one, I mean, if you want to go back into seriousness, fucking mental illness is a big fucking factor in it, but there's also laziness is also a factor. You can't deny that shit.
I think that there's a lot to be said on that. You don't have a bathroom down here, do you?
Actually, we're at an hour in, and I'm gonna get some more tunes going.
Sweet.
And we're just gonna take a little five.
Breaky break.
It's a little five here, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Get your fucking
Doing the pee dance, man.
do the P dance, brother. Where is my tunes? Yeah, you go do your thing there, buddy. Buddy. I'm gonna try to fucking. Are you kidding me? This fucking cunt is on my YouTube channel. Some fucking cunt in India hacked my YouTube channel, and fucking has been turning off my watch history. And then I go in there and turn it back on, and it's just like some fucking weird shit that I've never watched. So I have to go. I have to go fucking find the shit that I was watching. It's so fucking annoying, dude. Yes, I've changed my fucking shit. I've done it all. I'm just gonna go back with this. This is a good enough fucking thing here. Whoa. Alright, so we will be right back. We're just gonna take a short break, a real quick one. Get up, take a piss, be like my boy Stella. Throw some questions at us if you have any. And in the meantime, I will see you very shortly.
like the suavecito.
Okay. I'm gonna get my shoesies off again.
Yeah, actually, this is like a good plan.
Scooch over. Get out of my fucking way. Jesus. This pole is... I'm trying to figure out a way that I can take this out and have support going that way. So I can just fucking...
It's just a 2x4.
It's a 2x4 just holding the fucking floor up. Yeah. Alright. Welcome back. We weren't doing anything suggestive, so don't judge. He had his head down for a second. Don't worry. Just don't worry about it, okay? Everything's fine. It's part of the fucking show. I hope you're enjoying.
Homelessness?
No, we don't have to talk about the shit anymore. That's old shit. That's 5 minutes ago, dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't gotta go on the same fucking.
Right, I forgot we're not boomers.
Yeah, we don't have to go like. Yeah, fucking. Our audience is ADD, dude. They don't give a fuck. Let me fucking fade this shit out like a goddamn professional. It's fucking. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast. I am once again joined by my good buddy Stellar Smith, aka Stellar Barista, right on Instagram. Mm-hmm. That's the right one. I've been repping the correct thing. So is that okay? All right. I'm looking in the past here, and that's why I have my OBS open usually, because it's like this is delayed, so they're seeing it there.
Okay,
but,
so that's what's being streamed.
Yeah. So this is current right here. Anyway, that was a good little break. Took a little piss. Whipped the old Jimmy out, twirl him around a few times.
Do some helicopter stuff.
Splash, helicopter shit, helicopter gang. Fucking splash some goddamn water in my face. Splash some fucking Mountain Dew on my nuts. Got to make sure it's good. Make sure it smells good. Make sure it's nice and sticky for the ladies. Speaking of ladies, we might have a couple of ladies joining us here in just a minute on the podcast of the greatest YouTuber of all time, Luke TheBear Morgan. As you know, the best YouTuber of all time. There is none better, as you know. So anyway, if you, I know there's 3 of you hanging on by a thread, 4 of you now. If you have any questions for me or my friend Stellar, the barista, he is a security guard as of now, but he's also very passionate about coffee. Actually, I should ask you, what you got over here? What is this?
So I'm drinking.
Show the good people.
What you
got with your little fucking thing there?
Percolator espresso, and this is like, I think other than like an espresso machine, this is probably my favorite way to make it. But
yeah,
it's pretty cool. They're basically just a percolator.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you put your grinds right there. Put your water in this, and then stick it on a burner. And then slowly bring it to a boil, and you can get some pretty good espresso style coffee out of this.
Fuck yeah.
And these are pretty cheap. I mean, you can find these for like, if you go to
get up close there.
Used
it's pretty dope.
like outdoor stores, I find those there all the time, and these make excellent coffee.
We got Robert Morse talking shit in the chat. Rachel asks, how did you guys meet? And Robert Morse says, Grinder.
Definitely.
What a fucking charming guy that is. Good morning, Robert Morse, or actually afternoon. I should say here in the Portland metro area.
Pacific Northwest.
PNW Life hashtag free balls. Hashtag hippie ball sweat on your fucking forehead. Miss Rachel Welke, how did we meet? We'd known each other since middle school, off and on.
Yeah, I want to say that we kind of knew of each other I knew you through Andrew, in middle school.
Yeah.
And then I started hanging out with the boys.
The boys.
Yeah, and obviously your brother was around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we started getting to know each other then, and um, it's kind of crazy, like to kind of reflect back on our friendship and the time of knowing each other, and there's a lot of similarities that we've been through.
Yeah.
And there's like a surprising amount.
And we've also been through just some crazy shit together.
Yes, very much.
we worked we worked together for quite a while. Like, we did firewood together for a while, and we've done a lot of outdoors kind of I hate to say outdoors because it's fucking hacky. Fuck, I had to spit in my throat. I don't know how to regulate my own fucking saliva. Anyway, yeah, we went through all the camping shit we went through. That shit was fucking nuts. Like a bunch of.
It was pretty extreme, some of the things we did.
But really, to backpedal a little bit, I don't remember actually meeting you. It's been that long.
I think that
you were
like
running around in a fucking tie-dye shirt in middle school, and we kind of made fun of you. We thought you were a stoner. I don't know if you were, but.
Yeah, it might not been.
You mind if I put this on?
No.
Hopefully it's not too much noise.
No, I think that like it was a slow integration, because I was hanging out with your brother periodically at school, and then it's just like through association, we began to spend more time together and hang out, and then yeah, it took kind of a while for
That's a noise.
like my cheers farting. Yeah, until like we were really connected.
I gave you a pep talk one time. I was like, hey man, you need to get it together. Like, I think it was like, what was it? I think we were like freshman year or something, and you were doing some wild shit back then.
Yeah,
like you were getting into trouble. Yeah, I mean, most of my trouble I got in was middle school and earlier high school, but like you kind of kept it going for a while.
Well, I didn't really have an outlet when I was younger.
Yeah.
And so high school was kind of like the first time that I really had some freedom.
Right.
And just kind of went crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. We don't need to go into much detail, but
no, yeah, and it's it's crazy to reflect back on that time and think of myself as like that party animal and that just kid that just didn't care about anything.
Yeah.
And then look at who I am today. It's a weird contrast.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of how we met, but I know it was a gradual kind of thing that we got to be more closer friends, and working together for a while. You were effectively my boss for a bit when we were cutting firewood, which didn't last too long, but we were that was pretty fun. We were like fucking drinking a lot and cutting a lot of firewood.
Yeah,
I regard that as a pretty good time.
It was chill. It was
when I was living at my mom's after I dumped my ex who decided to fuck another guy. And I moved back down to Southern Oregon.
I'm glad you made that move.
Yeah, that was a good move. I think it was very freeing, I was kind of glad that she did, to be honest. Sometimes you're glad that your girl walks out on you because then you're free. I had all I had was the shit on that could. All I had was enough to fit on the back seat of the bench seat of my Jimmy.
Wow.
And that was it. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. And I was like driving away from Portland. And I was like, yes, this is great. But then like the time after that was pretty rugged. My mom and I spent a pretty crazy winter together, scraping through. So and we're way on the other side of that, man. That was a while ago, and some fucking nutty times. I wanted to save the couple of weird hunting camping stories we had to when you were on here. And which one should we start with?
I think we should start with the obvious one.
What, the fucking cat one?
Yep. Yeah. That was by far the craziest encounter with wildlife I've ever had. It was just so visceral.
And it's fucking awesome.
It was. Yeah.
After the fact.
It was like I don't think I've ever felt more terrified and more like victorious in a moment.
I felt kind of at home, to be honest.
Yeah, it felt like, a coming back to your roots, like
Yeah.
Rising up to a threat, trying to encroach on your camp.
Right.
It was pretty cool.
So we were hunting. I have this lady that was a neighbor of mine down in Southern Oregon, who she would let me hunt on her property, hunting deer, black-tailed deer, and we, it was deer season, October, and we had set up camp, and first of all, we realized that we were not very well equipped. we were not really very prepared.
No.
I didn't bring a sleeping bag at all. I brought like a little tiny fleece throw as a blanket. And it got down to like below freezing that night.
Oh, well below.
Yeah.
It was probably in like the teens, I'm sure.
And I'm sitting there after all this crazy shit happened. I'm just sitting there fucking shivering. And this fucking guardian angel with a fucking headlamp on, 4 a.m. or whatever it was, comes and just covers me with a sleeping bag, and I'm just like, ah. I went back to sleep. But I don't remember exactly what happened. But we were sitting there just chilling around the fire.
Yeah, we had
We just started hearing shit.
We had driven in a little ways into this like rural property, up in the mountains, and we had loaded up our backpacks and kind of hiked in a little ways off the beaten path and got into some just rugged country.
Like brush, well, oak brush, basically, oak scrub kind of
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, it was like oak savanna.
Yeah.
And
perfect for deer hunting.
Yeah, and apparently everything else.
Yeah, all other fucking wildlife.
And when we were hiking in, I remember it. It was crunch time. It was starting to get dark. We were kind of pressed to find a spot to get set up. So, we weren't setting things up in the dark. And I think we kind of haphazardly, picked a spot. And I think at the time we didn't really realize it. But we set our camp up in a heavily trafficked game trail. And so we had built a fire, and I think we had just gotten done making dinner, heating up some cans or whatever it was. I don't remember what we had that night. But it's pitch black at this time now, and
yeah,
we're just chilling around the fire, bullshitting, talking shit about our girlfriends.
Yeah.
And
normal shit.
Right. Yeah, normal guy stuff. And then all of a sudden we heard I had never heard a mountain lion before.
Let's see if there's a fucking ad on this. I don't know. Just keep talking.
And I heard.
Want to hand me those headphones?
Yeah. To me, it sounded like, just like a woman that was being just brutally beaten and was screaming. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Because it was close.
That sound. So in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
basically that scream.
And it wasn't like far away like this. You know, it was
Right next to us.
it was like 10 or 15 feet away. You know, because the way the brush was, it was like a maze. It was very, very dense and confined.
Yeah.
And it was close.
Yep.
And it was like immediately we we went into like self-preservation mode and grabbed our rifles and our shitty flashlights.
We're back to back. I have my .6 and he has his AR, and we're sitting there back to back, and we realize that we're surrounded by at least 2 mountain lion, because we hear one up the hill and then one down below us. So we're like basically pinched between 2 mountain lions.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember that. Like, I intimately remember everything up until that point. You know, it was like once we realized that there was more than one cat and that now they had moved and were like flanking us.
Yeah.
I don't have really much memory after that point. I think we fired a gunshot at one point.
I don't think so. I think I started barking like a dog.
Really?
Pretty sure. That's kind of usually my my go-to in a situation like that. I just start barking like a dog.
Okay.
And that seemed to spook them.
Well, hello.
Oh my God! There's people here.
It's a party now.
Hello.
Hello.
It's a lovely Amy, as you recognize
Hello.
from
Yeah, pull
other.
that shit up, Amy.
Pull that shit up, Amy, and that's Robin.
There it is.
Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Topaz Tastical on Twitch.
Yeah. Oh, you guys sit.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys chill on the couch over there if you want. It's a little stuffy in here, but you know, whatever. You can
Smell.
you can point the fan at you if you want. So yeah, that was. Then after that, I was like, we probably shouldn't leave camp. And,
No, we were.
And then we left camp. We like ran down to the fucking water to get down to the creek to get water. And I
Yeah,
was like,
but
maybe
we were
shouldn't be
not
doing
fucking
this.
around. Like we were like,
Finger
you
on
know,
the
one
trigger.
person had the shit, and then the other person was like ready to go with the rifle. Like
Yeah.
we were set and ready to go.
I got my finger on the trigger.
Oh, when you were gonna get eaten alive.
When we were gonna get
Right.
eaten alive by fucking wild cats.
And you were freezing to death.
Yep.
Yeah, and it like everything had been like really light up until that point. You know, as far as like mood and we were just like, talking a lot of shit and having a good time and laughing and
Drinking a lot of beer.
yeah, like
Oh,
we just like sobered the fuck up right after that point, and like
Yeah.
I don't think we really talked much after that. Like we were just like, whoa.
Okay, let's just go to
Just,
bed.
like chill the fuck out.
So then after that, went to bed, starved. We both starved and died.
In
We
a
froze.
12-hour period.
Yeah, we froze to death. At least I did.
Well, that was
Um,
relatively warm.
And then we realized that when we got up in the morning, we realized that there had been a bear that was like a foot from my head, or our heads,
Yeah.
in the tent.
Yeah, there was fresh tracks that had
There's a
come
bear
through
that had
night.
come through, and we realized in the morning that we'd landed our tent right in the middle of a fucking busy trail. Could you not?
Excuse you.
Excuse you.
Hey.
Get the
But-
fucking peanut gallery back there.
I'm making
Right.
fun of you guys.
Yeah, that was definitely the oversight of the trip.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fucking
was
nuts.
setting up in that game trail, because it wasn't like, I mean, I mean, if you've never been out in the woods, like running game trails down, it's kind of hard to explain, but there was like like I've never seen a more active trail before or since that time.
Well, that whole area is right next to a Buddhist temple, and it's a huge area that they bought. And Buddhists aren't into killing. So that's why I hunt near their property.
Yeah, because that's where all the big deer are.
That's where the fucking giant deer are. But you know, that whole area, like the last time we went through there, which was a few years ago now, there was barely any deer sign. There was mainly mountain lion sign and bear sign. If you remember that last time we went over the hill, in that area, across these like creek beds and shit.
Yeah.
Hey, Kristen these kids are from my group chat. Robert Morsa asks a very, very important question. I wonder how blind people use Tinder.
That's a really good point because it's all touchscreen based, right?
Well, blind people there's so many services on those apps where you can like fucking do it like tells you the fucking, what is it? It fucking tells you the fucking words and shit. It like reads it off really quick, like it translates shit for you. Why don't you come over here and tell the good people, what is it? Amy.
Huh? Oh no, I gave up.
What are they?
I don't know what it's called, but it's just the translator that like you hover over something and it can give you descriptions, and it's like alter abled.
How do they hover if they're blind?
They can feel the phone.
So it's kind of like a Siri.
Oh right,
Yeah, and if you listen to it, it goes really, really fast and it's really hard to understand, but they get used to it. I follow a couple Instagram pages of blind people that have like special alter abled descriptions of stuff.
That fucking
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
That's
Really,
crazy.
and there's videos of blind people going shopping online and ordering clothes and stuff.
Hedda asks a very important question.
How
do you know your type if you're blind? Everyone has a type. Well, I mean, blind,
I
right?
think everyone has a type.
Blind people are into blind people, right? Some guys.
I think it might be more personality.
Some guys are into fucking blind chicks.
Which
you know?
seems like a weird fetish.
Well, I mean, you know.
Maybe it's like the vulnerability thing.
Yeah, you know, you're a little bit vulnerable. It's like, hey, I can't see. You can't see what way the dick's coming, you know? You can't see which way that hitter's coming through the fucking night sky, slapping across your fucking cheeks, bro. Like, you don't know where the cum's coming from. It could be coming from, like, up in the... You could be up in the rafters, fucking banging one out. Drop it down right on her fucking little fucking hair part, you know? I'm sure some girls would be into that shit, right?
I don't know. I'm not a woman.
I'm sure there's girls that are into that. Shut up, Peanut Gallery. I'm going to turn that camera. Chris asks, how do Norwegians exist?
Psychopathy.
Psychopathy?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like
some kind of Norse shit?
No, it's like there's like a lot of research into people of Northern European descent, and like studies on how that demographic of ancestry is affected by like antisocial mental disorders at a higher frequency than others, and it's like a
what are you fucking talking about?
Talking about evolution. And well, like the Norwegians, they were like Vikings. You know, they were living this absolutely rugged existence for thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah.
And it's theorized that's why that demographic of people is affected by like psychopathy at a higher rate.
So I've heard that Scandinavians were brought here by aliens. That the Pleiadians.
Pleiadians?
The Pleiadian, they're from Pleiadia or whatever. These different fucking they're like blonde fucking Norse aliens that come in. They came in and fucking dropped some fucking coom into a couple of you know, Northern Irish girls, you know, and split, you know.
The Scandinavians came about.
The fucking
that
Pleiadians came down and had a good time and fucking hit it and quit it. fucking got the fuck out of here. And they haven't been back since. They don't even answer the fucking texts, leaving us humans on red.
Just ghosted.
Hedda says, my mom found me in a ditch at IK about other Norwegians, though. Norway doesn't exist. It's a fake country. Yeah, I guess, I've never been to Norway.
It smells like sweaty boys in here.
It is sweaty boys.
It
Feels like sweaty
It literally
boys in here.
is sweaty boys in here.
Later.
I should get an air conditioner in here.
It's not bad.
Huh?
It's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, you just let it sweat it out, Hedda is artificial intelligence. Luke, do you know Joe? I don't know Joe. Who the fuck is Joe? I mean, I know plenty of Joes. I know several Joes. Anyway, we just went on a fucking...
That's what podcasts are for, right?
That's what it's all about here in podcast land. Hopefully everyone can hear you okay. I need to get another mic boom.
Just have to get closer.
I've been looking at one for like $30 on Facebook Marketplace with a mic. So I'll probably be getting another condenser mic and a good stand. Oh shit, he just hit me up, man. He just hit it.
Joe
He
Mama.
just hit Joe Mama.
Oh
Holy
man,
shit.
that was solid next level stuff.
What? He just fucking
Those are
hit
fighting
me.
words.
He fucking hit me, dude. That fucking Chris Costello, that fucking Italian bad boy over there, that fucking horse-eating cunt on the other side of the country, rides a piece of shit Yamaha, thinks he's bad. He thinks he's a bad motherfucker. Well, drives a pickup truck. Fucking his fucking Italian waterfall falling off the back of him, flapping in the wind. Get the fuck out of here. Anywho's. I just said anywho's. Do you have any espresso left?
I have a little bit.
I'm gonna have some of
Want
that. I'm gonna have some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get some of that. So what makes you? I know you're like been passionate about coffee and shit. What's your do you have like a game plan as far as getting your fucking coffee rig rolling, or is that what stage are you at right now?
I mean, I guess it'd be R&D, but where we're at now is
strong.
Yeah, it's some stout stuff. I'm like jacked. So we're in the permit phase.
Uh-huh.
We're getting zoning approval through the county, and I mean, not to give away too much.
Fucking chewing on grinds. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it can be a little rugged. Might have a little bit left. No, that's it. But yeah, without giving away too much, what we're gonna do is we'll focus on roasting coffee and providing coffee subscriptions to people within within the Rogue Valley, which is where the company is going to be based out of. We're going to offer a personalized delivery service. So if people want this as opposed to mail service, we'll hand deliver the coffee on a bi-monthly or monthly basis.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah. So it should be fun. It's gonna be small batch artisan coffee. It's gonna be small scale.
Do you have a name for the business yet?
Yes. So it's gonna be called Cruiser Coffee Company.
Cruiser Coffee. Right. I think I've already seen a little bit of that.
Yeah.
It's fucking dope, man.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. And it'll be fun too, because the whole branding part of it is really kind of focused around exploration within like my Land Cruiser, which I've had since I was like 18.
The Cruiser.
Yeah, the old Toyota Land Cruiser. So that's really kind of romantic and exciting for me to kind of still extend memories usually using that vehicle. And
Well, it's also good to have a goal, like
Yeah.
with anything. I was listening to a guy the other day talk about what is the mark of a man? What is it to be a man or whatever? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be about being a man. It could just be about being like an adult, a well-rounded adult or whatever. But he was more focusing it on like what straight women should she's gay as the fucking day is long. What straight women should be looking at in a man, or looking for in a man, or a lesbian woman should be looking at in a fucking dyke. Should be someone who is focused on something, like someone that gets up at 9 a.m. on Monday morning to work on their project. So that I think that's a really positive thing. Like I get up on Saturday morning excited to do this podcast, and when I'm making videos, I'm excited to do them, and I'm happy to do it. I think it's really good to have something like that you're striving for, because without that, then you're kind of lost. I think something. It doesn't have to be like trying to get famous or whatever, like trying to build a career. I think it's really important to have something that you're focusing on for the future, to have a goal.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people get wrapped up in that the white picket fence fantasy.
Yeah.
And I think that's another way you and I are really similar, is our experiences growing up were pretty rugged. We spent a lot of time in the woods, and
Old school parents.
yes, yeah, and spent a lot of time away from society.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was so beneficial. It really like this project to me is about just making enough money to get by, and being able to have a happy existence.
Yeah.
And if I get to the point where it's like I can just roast coffee and work from home and run a small thing, and that pays the bills, and opens up just a little bit of opportunity to do more of the things I want, then that's really important to me.
Yeah. Then people are always gonna fucking be drinking coffee.
Yeah, coffee is not going anywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
if you outlaw coffee, that'd be
murder.
You might as well
You'd have fucking
outlaw firearms.
You'd have pandemonium, dude. You should outlaw firearms if you outlaw coffee.
I mean, you're gonna have to. Those things are synonymous with each other.
Like one or the other, dude.
Yeah, it was funny. I was talking to some cops about that the other day, and I was like telling them about this idea, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let us know." It's like, man, if you outlaw coffee, it'd be like riots in the streets.
Totally, dude.
And it was like we're talking about it in a joking way, but it's like, you can't help but think about how true that could be, because of how many people drink coffee every day.
It's a lot. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, it's millions.
Where do you get coffee beans to roast?
So coffee beans are grown in a very micro specific climate. They're grown at a certain elevation, at a certain latitude. So like higher elevations with temperate, rainforest, tropical type climates. So like Hawaii, Colombia, Peru, Guatemala, Kenya, those kinds of regions.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of businesses that source out like green coffee beans. So they'll go to like farms and things like that, and source the beans themselves and then wholesale them.
Okay.
So you would just go to suppliers, or you could probably, if you get big enough, you could find your own farm. I have a hard time seeing my vision becoming so large that we source out our own farm. Because that would mean we're going through like thousands of pounds of coffee, every few weeks, which I don't see.
Seems like a pretty daunting thing.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I mean, it's possible, but...
A lot of times that kind of shit can just take off. You never know what's going to happen. Yeah,
it could. It definitely could. But that's, getting rich isn't my objective. I just stepped down from a major leadership position doing security work. And, that was a big realization and a wake-up call. It was like, I don't want to be working, 70 hours a week, and have all these nice toys and things that I don't really get to, enjoy and experience. I would, much rather be like dirt poor, but have like just enough money that I could live out of a Land Cruiser and drive around South America.
Fuck yeah.
And, sling lattes at
South American dream.
Resorts. Yeah. Yeah, and that was kind of how this whole concept started. I was, I remember many years ago I was talking about this plan to ride a motorcycle down to Argentina. And I almost pulled the trigger on it. I almost did it.
Yeah.
But ended up with a back injury and, didn't happen.
Puts the fucking cap on that.
Yep. Yeah, medical bills suddenly become more important than a multi-continental joyride. And, that goal never really went away.
Still could do it.
Absolutely, yeah. But like a couple years later, I was thinking more and more about it, and it kind of evolved into this like, okay, I can't ride a motorcycle really. It would probably be a little hard on my body, but I could easily ride like a Land Cruiser or like any car or anything like that. I was thinking, okay, how could I make money and support that?
Yeah.
And at the time I was working as a barista for a couple of shops down in the Medford area, and I thought, I could just put an espresso machine in the Land Cruiser, and you could just go to tourist resorts.
Just off the tailgate? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. I mean, you just have you have it set up so like the espresso machine's on like a roller drawer, so you just roll it out, put like an extendable leg up so it's supported, and then you've got like a little pop-up espresso bar.
I've been wanting to kind of see if I could do something like that with my van and do some mobile repair shit that way.
Yeah, I think that, well, especially now, like, overlanding is becoming so prevalent in, like, the adventure community. There's
freelance shit,
so
too.
much, like, just gear and kit out there geared towards, like, space-saving, like, adventure-type stuff.
Right. Well, we're, it's interesting because, like, if you talk about the U.S., we got to this point of having like we were talking about earlier, like a set career in one place, and like it seems to me that we're not really meant to be all in one place for our whole lives, and I think we're kind of coming back to getting to a point where the freelance is coming back, like back in the day when our economy was rolling, especially after the Second World War, the freelance was all about the freelance. It was all about people getting out there and starting their own fucking thing. And now that shit has been established, and even Industrial Revolution too, if you go back that far, all that whole era always fascinates me. I talk about it a lot, but the whole Industrial Revolution until the 1950s, that whole era is just so fascinating in our history. But, I think it's coming back around now. People are fucking realizing how much of a fucking pain in the ass it is to be in one place and to be serving someone your whole life, you know?
It's fucking miserable.
Yeah. Not trying to play footsie with you. I'm just moving my foot.
Why not?
Okay. I don't want to, you know, I'm not aroused. Look down. You can't see, you know, I don't have a boner, okay? I'm just touching your toes. I'm not really into toes.
Not a feet person.
Full homo.
Yeah, I don't understand that foot fetish, man. That's a weird thing.
Man, people
There's a
into
lot of people
feet.
that are into that.
A lot of people are into feet, man.
I just don't get that.
It's insane. Like I mean, in a way, I kind of get it.
There's certainly a lot weirder fetishes, but that's definitely like up there with an odd one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can put your feet in a certain way, and not, you know, I don't know anything about this, but you can put your feet in a certain way that kind of mimics a vagine.
Oh, so you just like put them together like
yeah,
that?
so it's kind of like observe for the good people at home. I'm not gonna send toe pics. No way. Anyway,
Make that part of your Patreon. Like
yeah.
Send toe shots.
Dude, I'm a whore, dude. I'm not
anything for $1.
I'm not above making $1 by putting feet pics on the
$2
internet.
Tom.
Yeah.
I was like
$2 Tom. Fucking $2 big toe. You're gonna have a little bit of fucking you're gonna have a little crust on that baby, but it's still good to go, you know. Bleeding Blue asks, how much money does it take to start up an business? You fucking illiterate cunt. Depends on the business.
It really does. I mean, you could start
43 years old, you should know that.
Right.
Anyway.
I mean, if you really want to answer that question, make yourself a business plan.
Yeah.
And then that'll, like, if you're ever serious about starting a business, you should have a business plan.
Oh, you mean something that I never did?
You should do that. You should make a business plan.
I mean, I will. I think having a business plan for this YouTube channel would be cool.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it's imperative because it really like forces you to research a lot of key questions.
Yeah.
But it's so specific, man. I mean, you could like even like take something like coffee. I mean, you could do what I'm doing and you could do like it on like a micro scale where, you know, costs would be relatively low as far as starting like a food related business as far as like equipment and startup fees.
Yeah.
You know, or you could go like balls to the wall and start up something like, you know, a coffee roasting, you know, brick and mortar business that would cost like, you know, $1 million to start. You know, the sky's the limit. It really depends on what you do. You know, and I think that that's what's really cool about business is, you know, you can leverage social media to make a shoestring business work for you. Like I have somebody close to me who is an artist, and she makes greeting cards. And she started that business with, you know, basically just a city permit. And, you know, slowly over time grew that into something significant and big. But yeah, I mean, it just comes down to, it is a grind, you know, and it just, you know, it just depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and how you want to go about doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say that I had no business plan going in on my business. Like, I was able to kind of, oh, there you go, dick falling out.
Catch it with my...
Yeah, you're going to have either lower it or, yeah. You might want to move it a little bit over to the right, too, just so you're facing a little bit. Anyway, I had a...
Podcast 101 stuff.
Yeah,
sorry, guys.
pretty
This is
much.
my first time.
How do mics work? They fall down really easy.
Fucking amateur hour guy.
Amateur hours.
Sorry.
I did the research and I went through and I got my business name, you know, through the state, you know, Secretary of State. I put in all the, you know, the fees and all that shit. Got my tax ID and all that fucking shit. So I kind of had a plan going in, at least, you know, relatively recently, a couple of years ago. But before that, I was just out there hustling on the streets, basically.
Yeah.
But you know, it's if you want to do it properly, you got to really put your fucking ducks in a row, or it's not going to work out too well. You know, if you're really serious about it. I mean, you know, anybody can get out there and fucking, you know, anybody can get out there and put a Craigslist ad up for, you know, chainsaw work or something, you know. But if you want to go at it to where you have kind of a future in it, and you don't fucking get in trouble with, like, you know, the government, you know, you might want to put a little bit of time in it. I feel like most small businesses, it takes, I would say for most small businesses, it would take probably around 10 grand to answer the question directly. I would say most people are pulling out a 10 grand loan to get a small business going, you know?
Yeah.
If they're serious about it, to cover initial costs, you know, materials, tools, whatever it is. I mean, it's going to be more than that if you're starting like a shop that you're repairing shit. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have, well, I had my education, which costed a lot. Not necessarily to me, but now I'm in a huge amount of debt because I didn't pay the school. But you know, everyone else is doing that, so I'm not alone. But you know, the cost of tools alone, if you think about it, is a lot. I collected tools over about, I don't know, almost a 20-year period. I was able to get some hand-me-down tools and just buy little bits here and there before, and then now I have like a full shop worth of tools. Got a little bit of help along the way and all that shit, but you know, just tools for a repair business can cost $100 grand in some cases. You know, if you have a serious business you're trying to run, the cost goes up real quick. But like with a good espresso machine costs what, $5 grand?
It depends on some of the features, but if you go into like a major, like really busy coffee shop, they're gonna have a minimum of like a 2-group machine, so that means it can pull 2 espresso shots at a time. Most of those machines are gonna be about like $8,000-$9,000 just for that machine.
So 5 would be more like a used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the way coffee is going now, it's nobody's selling equipment, so everybody's hoarding it because it's
so
it's
valuable.
It's just experiencing a period of explosive growth. You know, then you got roasters, you know, coffee roasters. Those are like, you know, $10,000 to $15,000.
Well, that's how much quality shit costs nowadays, though. If you look back into, like, you say like a lathe for metalworking back in like the 40s, that was, I mean, how much was that? $100 back then? But they still work today. Because they were
those machines
fucking
were
solid.
built to last, man.
People, I know people who are still using metal and woodworking equipment from the fucking 30s to 50s. They really built shit back then. But now to pay for that kind of quality, you have to really pay through the nose to get anything like that. You know, there's a lot of, with our throwaway culture nowadays, you can buy a little kit espresso maker for $50, but you know, how long is that gonna last? You know, these things are they're fucking iron. You know, you tie that shit to a fucking guy's ankle, drop it in the fucking Mississippi River, he ain't coming back up, dude.
You're not gonna see that guy again.
So
yeah.
Anyway, that's.
Yeah, I think what's cool about starting small businesses now is it's really the time of the entrepreneur. You can really, everything's so niche and so microculture that you can almost make anything work.
Yeah.
Like you can go on to, like social media blows me away all the time. Where
Totally.
There's just channels of people who are sailing across the world, and they're utilizing, YouTube monetary systems and revenue
Mm-hmm.
to fund that lifestyle. If you've got, the knowledge, which you can find on the internet anywhere now.
Ironic.
Yeah, and the drive and, the spunk to make it happen. I mean, you can
Did you just say
achieve some-
spunk on my podcast?
I did, yeah.
Fucking bastard.
I mean, yeah, I know.
Totally derailed you.
You did.
That's what it's all about. If you can find
Yeah.
the drive to...
But, I mean, it's the time of the creators.
Yep.
It really is. And if, you got the drive and the creativity and, a little bit of, can-do attitude, you can do almost anything.
Yep.
Now. And I think that's really amazing.
I mean, you could be a porn star with no dick if you wanted to.
Definitely.
I'm sure it's a thing.
Yeah. I'm sure there's
Like-
somebody who's making six figures.
Sky's the
doing
limit.
that.
I mean, maybe not even the sky's the limit. I mean, I'm sure there'll be like... Is there space porn yet? I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
once
there's
we
alien
get...
tentacle porn. That's like a predominant part of the sex industry.
Once we get commercial flights to space porn will be a thing.
Yeah, there's gonna be somebody who, like, creates that flight, and
Yeah.
then a couple of weeks later, there's gonna be a cam girl
Yeah.
doing a session up there.
I'm down, dude. Floating around and diddling her fucking ding dong there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's gonna have a great time. She's probably gonna make millions of dollars.
Chicks
for
with
the
dicks in the
person to do
fucking
that.
sky. Dude, it's great. It's a fucking... It's...
Incredible time to be alive.
I know,
guys.
dude. It's gonna get better and better as we go. I mean, it's gonna get better. It's not gonna have any. It's gonna be the best, the best porn you've ever seen.
It's just fantastic.
Let's see here.
A lot of people talk about how our societies in the world are experiencing all of this turmoil and chaos, and I think there's some validity to that, but I also believe it's kind of like Vietnam, and experiencing combat in a way, as far as like absorbing media and change in public perception. It's like like the Civil War as an example was horrible.
Yeah.
You have like 14,000 people die in like a 2-hour conflict. That's insane. Like
Yep.
that is a massive loss of life.
That's numbers.
Yeah, that's like this town just dying.
Yep.
In a 2-hour period. And that's horrible. And that's a tragic atrocity and a tragic consequence of war. But we didn't really understand that until we saw it through media, like we did in Vietnam. And that changed everything.
Yeah.
That changed public perception, and it created this vast anti-war movement.
Mm-hmm.
For good reason, because then we really began to see, what kind of atrocities were being committed. And
War sucks.
I think that, like, that social media is, and our culture now is very similar to that shift in perspective. Where we're able to see a lot of the ugly underbelly of society.
Yep.
Like, I guess you could use police brutality as example. That's not a new phenomenon.
Yeah.
We're just seeing the examples of that more than we have ever before, just because that information is accessible.
For sure.
And I think that, there's never been more accountability and more intent to be, fair and morally just than there ever has been.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just...
I guess it's more... There's more of a... You can make people more accountable now with especially with the technology we have. I mean, there's cameras fucking everywhere now.
Right.
So...
Yeah, like I'm a fucking Paul mall cop, and I wear a body camera.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful thing. Like, a lot of people, when those started becoming prevalent, were like, who wore them were really against them. But I am, as being somebody that's like had false accusations thrown my way.
Let's look at the footage.
Yeah, I'm just like, just watch this.
Yeah.
And it's over.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's what happened is recorded and open to anybody's interpretation.
Yeah.
And and that goes for both ways. Like, if somebody who's in a position, especially of authority, like a police officer or a public servant of any kind, or somebody that tells people what to do or anything like that, those people should be held accountable. And,
yep.
I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
That's an incredible.
It's ultimately positive. And one other thing that I reiterate pretty often here is that it goes the other way around too. And people talk shit about cops. I have a lot of friends that I try to just ignore when they say this. But, people are always saying fuck cops, fuck pigs. But cops are us. Cops are human beings. Most of them have families, and they're just trying to do their jobs in as safe of a manner as possible. There's a very small fringe of bad cops out there, just like there's bad people. Cops are people and should be treated as such, and they have to maintain a certain level of fuck you, when talking to people, because they never know what their fuck they're gonna walk into. And it's usually the people that you should be saying, fuck this person to, is the people that is their higher ups, is their fucking, some of their fucking bosses that they don't have boots on the ground, trying to fucking make sense of a situation when it should be, I think police officers should be respected, way more. I think there should be. I think there should be way more of a shift in focus, and having police officers be honored more. I might get shit for that, but I don't really care. That's just I know cops. I've worked for cops. I have a few of my clients are cops, and they're all really good people. Just sometimes you get the bad apples that smash a retarded guy's head once in a while.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's something that perspective has really changed for me since I've started doing security work too.
Yeah.
Being a very liberal kid, raised in Ashland, which if you don't know what that place is, it's like
it's a whole other world.
It's like a hippie mecca. So it was a very left-leaning liberal place,
Yeah.
and predominantly there was very little appreciation for law enforcement.
Ashland is so left-wing that it's like socialist.
Yeah.
It's like Nazi.
It's like fringe left-wing.
You can't even smoke downtown. That's how fucking Nazi it is.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, coming from that environment and then into where you're at now, it's got to be quite a.
It's definitely a shift.
Yeah.
And it like seeing, like, seeing some of the things that have experienced, like a pregnant woman who's, like living on the streets, 8 months, pregnant, and she's just like, addicted to heroin.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of shitty things out there, and a lot of horrible people that would happily, take everything you have, including your dignity.
Mm-hmm.
And police officers are really what buffers our society from that.
Yep.
And that being in that position, I think, can really take its toll.
Mm-hmm.
You're constantly in a position where you're having to act and think like a predatory being. You have to put yourself into a predatory mindset, or else you're not going to survive. You're not going to survive physically because you're going to not be a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm.
And mentally, you're not going to be able to survive because you're just not going to have the fortitude.
Yeah.
And when you've got a guy who's like spoon feeding meth to his children and pimping them out, like, you don't want...
Is that a direct attack at me?
Maybe. I mean, you don't have children, so
Fuck
I feel
you,
like
man.
that's obvious.
I got a dog.
I guess you could be. I haven't seen you in a while, so maybe you did change.
I could be a parent. Who knows?
But that's going pretty dark into a pretty extreme place. But I think that a lot of people just don't understand that there's truly pieces of shit people out there who are like, just don't give a fuck about anything or anyone.
On all sides of the
purely
fucking
there
fence.
to live predatorily.
Yep.
And having people who are victims try to address those kinds of people just doesn't work.
Yep.
Predators have to be addressed with other predators, and unfortunately that's that's not great, but police, to be successful in the role that we ask them to play, they need to be a certain degree of predatorial behavior.
Yeah.
And society, I think, has a hard time accepting that.
Yeah.
They just think, there's this fantasy land where we can live in this utopia where we can just talk out our problems, which I love. I think that we should try to do that at every possible opportunity.
Sure.
But
there's different cultures out there, though, that don't believe that.
Yeah. And there's also people out there with nothing who are just trying to do what they can to survive, and then they kind of get stuck in that mentality, and then they become
the people that think
people.
that all people around the world are the same, are so naive. It's insane. Like there's a lot of Middle Eastern cultures that they're literally see women as second-class citizens. There's our property. There's just different cultures out there that people don't they don't want to come to terms with. That and then places like the U.S., which is a melting pot, which is a beautiful thing, but sometimes some of those bad cultural fucking aspects get in there, and you deal with that fucking fringe, and sometimes that shit can get real ugly real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about race either. People bring race into everything. What kind of fucking spoon do you use to lap up your fucking Cheerios? People bring race into that shit. Fucking, it's all about race these days. Anyway, you know what, buddy? We just did 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it kind of flew by.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, probably gonna wrap it up because we got a ramen date to get to.
Hell yeah.
Pretty soon. Gonna fucking carb it up this weekend. Fucking weed it up.
Gang, gang.
Gang. Fucking all over that fucking. We're raising the stock of wheat products this weekend. Just into the bit of a shout outs for the chat members. Bleeding Blue, Mr. Steve Maris, thank you for sticking with us from the beginning to end. You are a fucking beast. Even though you're old and you probably got smelly balls. Rachel Welke, thank you for coming in. You light up the whole chat with your awesome comments. You're a great person. Thanks for coming back. Her triumphant return to the last podcast. That was great. Elizabeth Morgan, the source, the madre, Liz Morgan, joined the chat for a while. Robert Morsa, I don't think I've seen you in the chat, but thanks for coming in and talking some shit.
Yep.
That's what I want people to do. Come in and talk shit. So
Grindr
I can.
reference was funny.
Yeah, Grinder.
Solid.
Hedda, my favorite lesbian right now. Pretty good lady. See you in the group chat. Chris Costello, the Sicilian bad boy. Good to talk to you. Thanks for coming in, jumping in, saying hi. And that's it for that. We broke 1,900 subscribers, my friends.
Congratulations.
We fucking did it. Yeah, thanks. On the way to 2,000, getting there. It's I've already at 1910, so
Nice.
we're 90 to go, and we're at that 2,000. So I can look at another fucking number in front of the subscriber number, for fuck's sake. It's a slow uphill climb, but I think if I stick with it, keep going, keep bringing awesome guests on the podcast, and keep making somewhat good videos. I know none of my videos have been really particularly awesome, but people seem to like them. I'm gonna be doing more cooking videos. I think I'm from here on for a little while at least. I'm gonna be doing basically mostly cooking videos. I know people are gonna be happy about that, but I had a long break from them because I was making cooking videos solely for like 2 or 3 years, and that shit was getting really old. So, well, actually, in the beginning, I was making all kinds of videos, and people didn't seem to care until the cooking videos started to take off. So, but my goal for this year was 10,000 subs, which just was not a realistic goal at all.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
I have.
Maybe it'll blow up in like a month or two.
It could
Just
blow
get
up
thousands
like
and thousands of
on New Year's Eve.
people. I mean, it just takes like one video, right? Just one viral video, and you just got like hundreds of thousands of followers.
Sure. I mean, that's how that works, right?
I don't know. I'm not fucking
Whoever keeps going in and watching all of the podcasts, I really appreciate it because it's fucking boosting my watch hours like crazy. I've had about a month ago, I was sitting at 12,000 watch minutes for a month, and now I'm sitting at about 22,000 for a month period. So I've almost effectively doubled my watch time, and really I need to be sitting at over 20,000 watch minutes per month to be approved for monetization, which is one of my you gotta aim low. So like fucking I'm sitting at you're supposed to have 4,000 hours for a year, and I'm sitting at just over 2,600. So I'm getting there, it's climbing little by little. So I appreciate you guys watching these, and I'm going to keep doing these podcasts because, tell you the truth, I was like, well, why do I keep doing this fucking channel if there's not really not really significant growth happening? But with these podcasts, these are something I'm seeing a real direct result with. I'm seeing numbers coming up, and they're increasing, and people seem to be coming back and listening. So I'm going to keep doing them. I'm going to keep having guests, keep talking lots of shit, making weird jokes, fucking jacking off from the rafters jokes, Fucking, I think we're gonna get there, man. I would like to be at least get some of my content monetized. I realize that a lot of it is way too crazy for any kind of ad, marketing agency to even touch. But it would be cool to have at least a couple of videos throwing me a couple of bucks here and there. And if obviously, I have to include it. But if you guys feel that I'm worth $1, I always have to put my PayPal in. Luke TheBear, and you can just go on your PayPal app, throw me a couple bucks if you want to. I'm not asking you, you fucking cunts. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, if you feel like I'm worth the time of sitting here kind of entertaining you or whatever, if you want to throw me a few dollars, you can do so. You can hit me up on Instagram if you want stickers. I again didn't bring any downstairs because I'm a fucking forgetful bastard. But my stickers are free. I will send them to you for free. And you can stick them around, fucking stick one on the back of your fucking grandpa's bald head,
Put them on UPS trucks.
Yeah, slap them on the side of fucking slap them on the side of a fucking tweaker's fucking crack pipe, wrap a fucking burrito with my stickers. Anyway, more cooking videos coming up, my friends. More guests coming up. I'm just trying to get people to want to come in. Random people off the street, just yank a guy into my fucking basement by his legs and fucking interview him. But as always, thank you guys for coming in and joining us. We had concurrent viewers all the way through. We didn't hit 0 once, and that really helps out with the watch time and the fucking averages and all that shit. So, and I'm sure we will have the Stellar Barista on again, because we could go on for another couple hours probably. So
I'm sure we could.
Yeah. Any closing remarks? Shit you need to rep? You're Stellar Barista on Instagram.
Yeah, if you want to check out my Instagram page, it's Stellar Barista, all one word, lowercase. So that's where what I've got going on is all being broadcasted and directed. So go check that out if you're into coffee or Land Cruisers. I think other than that, I don't have anything to add.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks, man. It's been a dream of mine since the day I was born.
Keep dreaming, fucking. You have the worst dreams I've ever heard of. We'll have to do like a more stories focused, at least first half next time.
This was fun. It was like it's
good to
been
just
a long
have a
time
hangout
since we've gotten to kind of just sit down and bullshit and talk.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
We
But
covered some pretty good subjects, I think.
yeah, we could probably talk for like hours about some of our.
I was wanting to talk
Stories.
about guns more, but we can do that later. Some other time.
Yeah, it'd be fun to talk about close calls because I know you and I have had
a lot of
just
close calls.
many near-death experiences through work.
Yeah.
So
We
that'd
could
be cool.
even do it sometime and not even have it be live, but we could just turn a camera on and have high definition footage of us talking about this shit, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be neat. I'm game.
Yeah, cool.
Here for a couple days.
Right on, brother. Yeah, watch out for more videos. What else? Have yourselves a great fucking day. Keep your bitches out of the kitchen. And we will see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.